All right. Hello and welcome to week 4 topics to be covered. That's for the Python. And today we are going to cover the few important which we left in the last week's session. That is, what is data type and what are the different data types available in Python, especially, and what are the Python strings and how I can work with escape characters and what are string slicing mean. All right. So these are the topics which you are going to cover. But before that, we need to understand what is data type. Okay. So in the previous session, as we learned like how to use variables, right? So when I say a equal to 10 or 20, what does it mean? A is a variable. It's like a container which is storing a value called 20. Here is the trick, especially in Python. Equal to is an operator. It's a symbol, right? So when I use equal to, what happens is you are assigning that right operand to the left operand. That is 20. You are storing physically into a variable called a. It could be a or anything. We already understood what are the different types of variables we can use, and whatever the names you want, you can go for it, right? So here the thing is, like, I used a equal to, but when you want to really use equal to symbol in Python, we need to use the double equal to. That means what I'm trying to compare is 10 is equal to 20 or not. Okay, then I need to use double equal to. But if you are using only one equal to, that means you are assigning something. That is what we need to understand in terms of variables. So we have seen extensively how to use the variables in case in case of your previous session. That is how to use the variables. But in case of Python, only why it is different, like when I compare with any other programming language, especially when I go for any other programming, like the example Java language, we can see a C language, you can see I'm saying only a equal to 20, which is very easy. That's why the Python is considered to be very easy. But in terms of a Java, let's quickly write and understand this. I want to understand how it works in Java. Okay, if I want to tell my computer I want to store a value called 10 in a variable called a, I cannot simply say equal to 10. It will not make any sense. If it comes to a Java programming language, what happens is, let's try to compare so that you'll get the flavor of how different the Python is going to be. In case of Python, what happens? Let me convert this into a Markdown because it's not a code for me, right? So it is an example. So what happens in case of a Java? I'll simply try to write the program. I just want to add two numbers. See how different the Python is going to be. We can understand this. Don't try to understand the program which I'm writing in Java. It's not related, but we are going to understand the difference with the Python here. So I'm going to write everything in the lowercase public class add. Okay. So I used add. I need to use something called flower brackets because that's how Java is treated, right? So I want to use a public, and then I want to use a static void main. Don't try to understand, guys. Strings, open, closing brackets, and close. This is how the program looks like. I need to use this flower brackets again. I need to close the flower brackets in order to say that my job is completed. That is, the skeleton of Java is created. Yes, the skeleton is ready. Now, what I want to do, I want to simply print hello Python. So for example, I want to print hello Python. So what you do in simply Python, you'll say print, you'll say hello Python. Simply one single line, my job is done. It is going to straight away print hello Python in case of your Python. But what happens if I want to do the same thing in Java? What happens is you need to write this entire structure. First, I want to create a class. Then you need to create a main string. Then you need to give a name to that class, whatever the class you are printing. And you need to say system dot system system dot out dot print, then print not print ln actually in Java. So we need to use hello Python. So hello Java, sorry, this is Java program, so let's say Java. So just guys, try to understand in a simple fact. I'm written almost 1 2 3 4 5 6 lines to just to print hello Java. I'm not saying it's very complicated in Java, but how different Python, that is what I'm comparing, because Java is ruled the world. It's a very great programming language. So even to print simply hello Java, I've written so many lines. But this is not what I'm looking. I want to understand how the variables is being called in different languages. Just for example, I'm taking this. I want to say equal to 10. Java is not happy. It's not understanding what you mean by a equal to 10. Are you storing 10 into a variable called a? Okay, I'm happy to take the 10 as into a, but can you tell me what data type is 10 is? By looking at the 10, I can understand it's a numeric value, but Python, Java doesn't know it. So I need to tell int a. I need to tell first, I need to tell int a. Int a means Java, I'm telling a is integer. Please understand that. So I'm telling again int b. Python, Java, B is an integer data type. So whenever I refer A means always I need to store a value called numeric only. That means I need to store only numeric value. I cannot store anything there. Now I'm just trying to add two numbers, guys. Just imagine the kind of program I've written. It's very big. So that means A plus B. If you want to make it more, you can say C equal to A plus B, then close it. Every line I'm just trying to close with what? With a semicolon. Okay, I'm trying to use this semicolon because that's the way Java understand. Every line of statement I need to close, telling Java this line is the end for me. Then I'm going to the next line. I'm telling again it's close. I'm going to the next line. I'm telling again it's close. So you can see how many lines I've written just to print that A plus B is what. That is what I want to print, and this is time took for me to just to add two numbers. This is how it is written. Okay, this is how it is written. In case of a C language, let's see, is it different or not? C language. And by the way, why we are comparing it just to see how Python is different and why we are keep saying Python is very, very easy to learn. Okay, I need to use something different here. Again, I need to use something called, I need to include a library here, include uh, there is library called studio dot what h, I believe. Yep, studio dot h. So that means first I need to tell C compiler or interpreter. So I'm including the studio.h, that is as a first line. Then I need to tell void, okay, void, I need to use the main class, okay, main as your program. First, you are starting with the program, then you need to have open and flower brackets, which is a must for the C language, otherwise it will not understand. Then I need to tell what is int A. Then I need to set int B. Again, of course, it goes without saying, like you need to use a ending for it, otherwise it will not understand. C equal to uh, A plus B. Of course, what is C again? I don't know what is C. So tell the system every time C is also an integer, guys. So here also same thing. So here I said int A and B. Here I need to say int also C is also a integer data. It's not a string. It is not a date. It's not something else. It is specifically I'm telling everything to my computer in terms of a Java language, in terms of a C language also. Here when I'm printing again, the syntax is different. I need to use something called not print or print ln. I need to use something called print f. See the difference. See the difference, how the different programming have a different styles of writing. Okay, now coming to our favorite language, that is the Python language. I want to add just two numbers. Let's see, A equal to 10, B equal to 20, and C equal to A plus B. Print C. That's it. My job is done. But now here, what is the important thing we need to understand? What is that difference you want to make out? I'm not using semicolon, guys, here. I'm not using any semicolons. I'm not telling my computer this is the end of my line. I'm not using flower brackets as an opening or closing parenthesis, right? I'm not using any opening and closing. I'm not using printf or println. That's the style of that languages. I'm not declaring or including any kind of a libraries before I start this program, because without declaring this libraries, we cannot start the program itself in C language. Okay. And one more interesting thing, I explicitly keep telling the computer, please consider the A letter which I created here. It's an integer data type. What is an integer? It's a numeric value, right? So when it comes to Java language also, I'm doing the same thing. But when it comes to Python, it's quite easy. It's A equal to 10. Python interpreter will simply understand, okay, you are putting 10 into A, that means let me understand this is the number. If I say A equal to Monty, it will understand, okay, you are telling Monty is a text, so let me take it as a string. So that's the way the Python works. That's why we call it as an easy language, and we are avoiding a lot of things. We are avoiding closing brackets. We are avoiding the flower brackets. We are not using any libraries before we start the program. 10 plus 10 straight away giving an output without any including libraries or closing flower brackets or nothing. So this is a simple example to just to make you understand how different the Python language is going to be, right? So now let's try to understand more about the data type, which is our main topic today. Data type is nothing but what kind of data you want to store. Okay, if I say 10, that means numeric value you want to store. Okay, let me just put this way. If I say 10, I want to store a numeric value into a variable. That is a data type. What data type? In general, I know it is called as a number. But in comes to uh, technical terms, we will call it as an integer. Okay, integer, I don't even spell out completely. I'll say int, because that's how languages are created. If I say int, that stands for integer in C and Java languages. I'm not taking many examples. C and Java is enough. In When it comes to Python, I'm not even telling it's a int or integer. I'm not even spelling out. I'm simply saying equal to 10. If I say b equal to something called something, what is that something? Something is something, it's a text. So Python will start understanding now b is nothing but a string data type. A equal to 10, that means it will understand it's a numeric data type, nothing but number, whole number. If I say C equal to 10.20, what does it mean? Now Python will start understanding C is nothing but a numeric, no doubt, but it is called as a floating number. Why floating? Because it has a few decimals, right? So within the numeric, we have a different types. That is what we are going to understand now. Let me just quickly draw a figure so that you can understand. I open my Excel. Okay, just let me put everything here as a simple graph, which I don't want to create in Jupyter. First, let me create what are the different types of uh, data types we have. Okay, and let's try to slowly come by step to understand the whole picture. Okay, the very first one I want to use Python. What is the text color? Text color is white. Let me see it. Python data types. Okay, now that we understood what is a data type means, data type is nothing but the type of value which you are trying to store in a particular variable. If you're using numbers, that means you want to do certain calculations. If you're using text, you're using for some purpose. If you're using decimals, that has some different purpose. So every value which you're trying to store has its own different purpose in the technical term. So let's go for the very first one. What is the first type of, not first type, what are the different data types, what in general we are talking about? The first one we have here, numeric data type. Okay, numeric numeric data types. Under the numeric data type, do you have any different types again? Yes, we have. In the numeric data type, the first and foremost comes is your integer, which is very, very important. Integer. What is an integer for me? Any number is an integer? Yes, of course, but it should be a whole number like 100, 1000, 200. Any number which doesn't have any decimals can be considered as your integer value. Okay, any number, any number. I'm not specific which number, any number which is a positive number, right? That's an integer. And when we have something called second one, that is most important, again, those who are doing a data analysis with the finance data, they always find some cent value also, that is a decimal values. We can call it as a float number or float integer type data number. Okay, so float, that's a float is a data type. Okay, you're telling integer, you're talking about float, you're talking about something else, but how do I know actually? Because Python is not telling me what type of data it's storing. For me, I want to add something, one number to other number. I'm simply saying equal to 10, but how do I know? Is it really Python is treating as a number? We'll see a practical example, but for now, numeric, we have three types. One is integer, float, and the last one, what is called as a complex. Yeah, complex data type. Okay. In the next series, the first one, if you take it as a first one as a numeric, the next one, we have something called dictionary. Okay, the dictionary data type is one more data type. We'll get into details because I don't want to fill the entire information at single go. We'll go step by step. The next one, we have something called Boolean data type. Okay, and next we have something called set data type. Okay, and next, the very important, which we keep using always, sequence. Under the sequence section, what are the different data types we have? We are the very first one, we have something called strings. Okay, which we commonly use most of the, your name, my name, company name, school name, any text information is called as string. So we'll get into details more, but for now, string is one data type which comes under sequence style. So the next one we have is tuple, which we never heard actually. This word coming up from only Python, not in other languages. We don't have this word called tuple. Tuple is one data type. Okay. Next we have something called list. So these are the different data types what available in Python, and we have to understand this because these will help you to make your program better. Okay, if you want to do a big programs, the basic thing again comes is what type of data you're storing in a variable. What type of it? Is it a list? It is a tuple? It is a string? Is it a Boolean data type? Is it a dictionary? It is an integer, float, complex, or whatever it may be. Okay, so let me quickly keep this into your what do you call? What I'll do is simply I'll try to use this image into, let me, what you call as that. What I want to do is I want to just put this image into the notes so that you can use it for the later purpose. It's not a part of Python. Instead of writing this entire information I created as an image, I'll try to crop it. So I'll say this is data types. Okay, it's already there. So close it. What I want to do, that magic is I just don't want to write any stuff on my screen. Uh, So here, what I can do is I want to go to my desktop straight away, and I want to open my Jupyter notebook. I want to draw that picture here. Can I do that actually? You can simply drag and drop it here, but I'm not able to drop. So let me just right click on it and copy it. Just copy it and paste it here. What happens? Let's see. Okay, I got something here, data.png, because that's a file name, and it's saying attachment data.png. That simple line which has written by default. I didn't do anything. So where is my picture? By the way, I need to yet to run my program. So just let's say control enter. Excellent. Now I have my own notes on my Jupyter notebook, guys. So okay, you can see that I simply drag my picture. You can drag and drop also. I just copied and pasted. I showed you a different way. You can drag and drop. So this is how I have the complete story about data types. So in this one, what should we pick up first? There's no sequence as such, but generally anyone should start with the numeric in order to understand the numeric functions. How this better you can utilize and how you can give the output in the Python programming. But let's start with the string. Today, let's ensure that we'll become the master of the strings completely. That is, right from the beginning. As I mentioned in the previous session, we could not record that video, so we are going starting with strings again. Maybe you'll find some of the examples which are already discussed, but I will try to close everything in this string today. And what are the topics we are going to cover is today, what is data type, what is the types of data types, which you have just seen, and we are going to cover what is Python strings today. Okay, Python strings. Let me write a clear note so that you can just refer to that. There's no other notes required. I'm going to write in a simple words. Next, immediately we'll see escape characters and slicing also we have seen, but we'll go through as a part of recording. Then we also see Python. This is very important, Python methods, or you can call it as a function for now. Yeah, these are the topics which we are going to cover. We'll start with the Python strings. So what is a string actually? I want to understand what is a Python string. So how do I create a quickly a cell? No problem, simply use B. What is B again? When I click on this, I can understand, okay, cell to create under the bottom. So let me click simply B. I created one cell. Let me click B. B as can create as many as want. Don't want to use as a code window. I want to use as a markdown. Very important, guys. Quickly, we can see how you can create. So the topic name is your Python strings. What is a Python string? Let's see that. Oops. Okay, so what is a Python string? For that, let me put two ashes and space just to give kind of a heading here. And whatever the notes I'm writing, I can use a bullet points or whatever we want there. So it's basically trying to fill the whole window with some kind of a note so that you can quickly refer whenever you want. And let's talk about the Python strings now. So what is basically a Python string? Okay, any text, as I keep mentioning, it's a one type of a data type which we most commonly use. The number is one data type, string is one data type. If you can understand these data types very clearly, the rest of the data types you'll not find that complicated. It's quite easy. So that's why let's spend more time on strings, which plays a vital role in your programming. Not only strings, numeric plays equally important. So let's try to write some notes. I'm using greater than symbol. What does it mean? I want to do some kind of formatting with a paragraph style, or you can simply use a star, which means you want to give a bulleted style of information. No matter, there's a part of your formatting. Let's say in Python, what happens is a string is a data type that's typically, what I can say is, used to represent a text. Why not? In Python, a string is a data type that's typically used to represent a text, right? So anything, a string. Let me also put that words. A string could be any series of characters, including, let me say, including what? It could be including letters, you see. Oh, yeah, that's the primary thing, right? So alphabets, letters are nothing but alphabets, and we can also see numbers and spaces. That's it, etc. Okay, so what string means? It's a straight away a simple definition. Okay, in a simple words, rather not making very complicated. In Python, a string is a data type that typically used to represent any text. And by the way, the text could be also of any series of characters, including the letters, numbers, spaces, etc. Why I'm using those different variations here, including letters, numbers, spaces? Why? Because sometimes I made it like this: Monty 786. What does it mean? It is a combination of number and text, but still it is considered as a text. Okay. If I say something like Monty Python, what does it mean? You have a space in between these two words, but still it is considered as your text. So in simple words, your text can can have numbers, letters, and spaces as well. So that's all about your string object. And very importantly, what we need to understand here, your string, let me put as a bulleted one, your string can be enclosed in single, double, and triple. Right? We know this primary thing, like the strings can be enclosed in single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes. So any string we cannot leave just like that. Print this, it will not print. It will throw an error. That's what we have seen one of the example, that it will not print until unless when you enclose in a single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. So why we have these three options? Because based on the requirement, we can style your text as per your requirement to make your better programming. When I'm using all single quotes, maybe in between of text I want to use single quotes, in that case I cannot use single quotes, we need to use double quotes. We'll see with an example, just giving a thought. So is it the same kind of a structure we have other programmings? Not really, because C is very strict, Java is very strict. Single quotes means single quotes. We cannot use double quotes there when you are enclosing any string. So in Python, we have three different options where you can go for it. So let's see an example as a basic example, because we'll start with basics and we'll go to further. So, okay, with the last was 9. So let's go for it. 10 here. 9, 10. Yeah. So the very first one, I've written a single line comment. I'm repeating. I'm trying to try to use all those things which I start learning in the previous session. I'm using those things. I just used a single line comment here. So I want to print. So by the way, how do I write the print? I don't know. If I write in uppercase, it's not even converting into lowercase automatically, because it doesn't have that kind of facility here. Because had it been, if you're using a PyCharm or VS Code or Sublime or any other editor, graphical interface, these are web-based, right? So web-based, we have only two. That's what I believe. One is Jupyter Notebook. We have Google Colab, that is also notebook style, where you can do the same kind of stuff. That is from a different product. Okay. So when I use print, it's not really telling me is this the correct or wrong, until unless when I run the program, then I'll understand, okay, something wrong I'm doing. So let me try to say print something like this. No, it's not working. So what is the easiest, quickest way is when you write, it should convert into some colors. So that means this is the way to write. Okay, just open and closing parentheses always required. In case of your Python 2, there's no need to understand, but Python 2, what I can do is I can write Monty Python in double quotes. That's the way I have to write in Python 2.0, 2.x or 2.0 Python programming, which is not existing, we can say. Honestly, it's not existing. We can, but now in the 3, which started with the opening and closing parentheses, this is must. We have to enclose in open and closing parentheses, and that too we have to give either single quote, either double quotes, or triple quotes. So let's see, as the Python is claiming you can use single quotes. Let's see if it is real. We can use it using single quote. By the way, by writing these comments, really making my program better, or because of these comments, my Python program is running? No, your comments is nowhere related, because as I keep telling, the comments, what you write in Python or any programming language, that is for only human, not for the computer. Computer never understand whatever you write. Something starting with a hash symbol, it will treat that as a comment. So it doesn't know what it means, what you're writing. That's only for your reading and understanding. So once I start printing this, you'll see that the Monty Python is printed. Okay, let's go with a simple example again. I want to explore all the features what it had, because it's claiming that we can use as a single or double. So let me use, if the double really works, I'm using a double quote here. I'm using a double quote here. So let's see, I'm using double here as a, when I'm using double, no change. I didn't see any change at all. So let me try to use a B here, as many cells, because you are going to see some more examples here. Now, the next example clearly demonstrates, even if I use a triple quote, it should not be a matter. Triple quote. Okay. This is a triple quote symbol, how we use, and this is a triple quote. Okay. This is a triple quote, and 3 examples straight away what we can use for this Okay, triple quotes. Once I say enter, no problem. I'm going to give the same output because I know single quotes, I know double quotes, I know triple quotes. Unlike other programming languages where you are strictly supposed to use only one type of quotation, but no, we have a three types here. But what if I use, just for fun, let me try to use one more code here. Okay, one more code. And okay, four quotes and four quotes. Let's see if it works. It's going to throw an error. Why? Because Python knows only three type of quotes here, either single quote, double quotes, or triple quotes. So it doesn't know any other types of string enclosing. So that's what we need to remember. We cannot go against the rules here. We have very simple, straightforward rules: single, double, triple quotes. So that's it. Quite easy. That's how you try to make mistakes and try to see what kind of errors is Python interpreter is trying to throw you. Okay. So that's a simple thing what you have seen in previous session, but for the recording purpose, I'm just going through very quickly. Okay, and this is your 11th example what you have seen, and let's quickly go for the next example, that is 12th. And what if there is a situation? Okay, I want to print an output like this. Let's see the output. Okay, just manually writing. So that you can write later. Monty's Python. This is how I want to print my output. So what's special? You already printed many times Monty Python, but this time I want to print differently. That is by using a single quote apostrophe. You can see before this, but let's see will it really work by using a single string here. Now what I do is I'll just remove this. I'll remove this. I'll just use single apostrophe. Okay, of course I need to use single apostrophe because Python says like you can use single quotes, right? So let me use single quotes, and I'm really confusing that interpreter. I'm saying single quotes at the same time. I want to have one more single quote within the text. This is a catch here. I want to use single quote within my output at the same time, including the entire string in a single quotes. And obviously, you'll get an error because it's not understanding. It's understanding up to Monty. It's understanding it is one string. After that, it's really confused what to do because you said apostrophe here. There's no apostrophe again here, but your intention is different. You want to print Monty's Python as it is with a single apostrophe. What I mean, apostrophe at the top. So here, what you can do is a smart work. Simply when you get this kind of situations, you can simply use double quotes instead of single quotes, right? That's how you can smartly escape by using a double quotes. Let me write here to get single quote in string. That's it. So what happens now? Nothing. It will give an output what you're expecting because your intentions were very clear, like you want to print that single apostrophe. But single apostrophe or single quote, what I mean, if you use around the string, that means you want to print that as is as a string. But in between that also, if you want that single apostrophe, then it will problem. It will not understand it. The other way or around also is like we can use triple quotes to avoid this confusion. You can simply use double quotes or triple quotes here. So still the same because finally you want to safeguard that particular single quote within your string. It doesn't matter whether you use a double quotes or single quote, but using single quotes around the string, this kind of situations I cannot use. Now slowly you're understanding why we have three different types here, right? So single quote, double quote, triple quotes. Which one is my favorite? No, it's not about favorite. It is about the situation, the problem which I'm trying to solve. The problem which I'm trying to solve is Monty's Python. I want to print a single code as well, which is not getting possible by using single quotes. So I use triple or double quotes to in order to give that output. Let's go for the next example. That is there's the next example. All right. So in this example, let's try to explore what if okay, as you have seen, like single quotes, if you want to print in between, how that would be we have seen. But what if you want the combination, you want a single quote also, you want some text, any text for that matter, you want to enclose in double quotes. So let's see that example straight away as an output first. I want to see the output so that while writing I can really get through that command. So Monty's Python. Again, you can ask me what's new in this. Like you want a single quote, so you're cool. Like you can use that triple quote or double quote. You can avoid that, right? But here the trick is like I want to print Python in double quotes. Something like I want to highlight it. It happens, right? When you're writing your any text, also you'll try to highlight certain words. So if you want something Monty's Python, Python should be in a double quotes, and S before that S, I want that single quote. Now here is a problem. So let's try to solve this problem. I want the output to like this. What I'll do is I will take this first, right? Let's try to do an error. That is by straight away putting this information in between, I want to use double quotes here. Okay, not double quotes. Let's go with the first one, that is a single quote. I used a single quote here at the last, being I need to say to computer, this is my string. But when I try to enter, no way we are going to get the error because it's not accepting, it's not understanding. uh, we have that facility of using any combination, but here we want to print the output on what way we want to print the output as Python in double quotes, single quote before the S. So still I'm not happy how to do that. So let me see if I can use double quotes here. Double quotes at the last, double quotes at the beginning. Will it solve my problem? Let me run it. No, still I have the problem. So what is the best way of solving these issues? Now, I'm big fan of using single quotes. I'm big fan of using double quotes. Now, it's again no what is your favorite, it depends upon your situation. To in order to resolve this the simple smart way, there are other ways. We'll try it over the simple ways now to solve it. I use triple quotes. Okay, I use the triple quotes. Then I will try to just smartly and trying to solve this problem. So I'm trying to use triple quotes here. I'm to run this, we'll see, let's see if it works or not. So it's not working, right? So what is the problem here? Okay, so we got the solution, but there are different ways to do this. We'll see that through also double quotes uh, Python to get a single quote in a string. Okay, that's fine. This is 13. Yeah. So ultimately, what the output I want to see on my computer screen, I could be able to get that by using a triple quotes before the string, right? Because very particularly, you want to print Python in double quotes. So we could able to achieve that by using the triple quotes. Even if I use a single quote here before the string, after the string, I fail. Before the string, after the string, even if I use double quotes, I'll fail again. So the best option left is only triple quotes. So in while you are writing programs, you may find more complicated. We'll try to resolve the other ways also. Okay, let's try to take a quickly next example. As I was telling in the previous session, we have certain things called we have something called escape characters. Okay, escape characters means we want to escape certain characters. For example, if I use a single quote in the mid of the string, it is understanding as including of that text, right? Strings are always enclosed in quotes. It's understanding as a quotes, but I don't want them to understand as a quotes, but I want them to print actually. I want them to print actually the way I printed a normal text. I printed along with apostrophe. I printed along with apostrophe and including double quotes. But this time I want to use some escape characters, which you'll have in other languages also. But here the beauty is, see how easy to use. Okay. So let me remove everything here and let me print a normal thing first. Let me remove this as well. Okay. Obviously, it will throw an error if you straight away run it. But here, what you want to do is you want to escape the characters. Okay. So in this series, we'll try to see different options available. The very first option available is you want to print something. Monty Python is fun, something like this. Let's write it first. Monty's Python is fun. Okay, this is something you want to print, nothing new. I just printed, I got the output, because that's what I keep doing from the first example. So what's new here, what you want to do here? I want to print, sometimes the situation is like you want to give the output into number of lines, right? What I mean is every word you want to print in a new line altogether, not in a single line, but in a new line all the time, every time. Of course I can achieve that. I have a very lazy way of option available, which I'll show you very quickly. I have 4 commands here. You'll say it's nothing because this is what a lazy guy can do. Like we have written 4 lines in order to print 4 different words. So let's see that as well. Is that easy or complicated? So Monty Python is fun is in a second line, third line, and and we have the fun in the fourth line. So what I mean, simple fact is that I want to print in 4 different lines. That is what my intention is all about. So when I'm running, you'll see this Monty's Python is fun. We got in 4 different lines. There's nothing wrong in this program actually, but I don't want to waste so many of writing so many of lines. But is there any way through which we can quickly make this into 4 different lines? So here comes the picture of using your escape characters. Okay, let's see what is the escape character here. That is using the very first one. uh 13th, this should be the 14th, and the first one I'm going to use. I'll go a little slow here. Want to understand what the escape character, how it works for the entire strings. Okay, the very first one, when you want to print something in the new line. Okay, I know how to print because already I printed. But what is the different thing you want to do by using escape characters? What is that escape character? How it looks like? You just use the backward slash and small n. It stands for new line. N stands for your new line. That's it. Very simple. So this is also printing, but now I don't want to print this one. So what I'll do is I simply comment it out because I don't want to print four lines. Let's say print uh, Monty's Python is fun. Okay. When I'm running, of course, it prints in a single line, but that's not the intention what we are trying to do here. We want to print in four different lines, four different words, or tomorrow 100 words into 100 lines, whatever. So my question is clear. From the Monty one line, Python in one line, is in one line, and fun is one line. This is not Fune. This is fun. Okay. So what is that? Backward slash and n. We've been understanding Python very closely. Whatever you enclose in double quotes, single quote, triple quotes, it will print as it is. That is what our basic knowledge. Of course, it will print in as it is. But when you use escape character like slash n, what my intention is, it will print as is, but it will not print because this escape character, that is slash n, will print in a new line altogether. Let's see, slash n. Here I want to use slash n, not m, n, and slash n. So how my output should be actually, because we've been learning that whatever you put it in the string, it will print as is something like this. But do you really want to print something like this, slash n, which doesn't make any sense for me? No, we do want to print like that. But it will escape that slash n. It will not print slash n. It will print the meaning of slash n, that is printing in a new line. Let's see practically by just clicking on Control Enter in Jupyter Notebook. Once you print, you can see that Monty's Python is fun in printing in a 4 lines. Is there any difference actually in both? Let me just unhide and print it. No difference, right? So both are same actually, but by using a smart escape key here, that slash n, I could be able to do the same job in single line of code rather than writing 4 lines. That's the power of escape character. This is the first one what you have seen, that's the slash n. Let's go for the next example. That is our 15. And this, what is that? We'll write it later. First, let's try to see what is that you want to print. Here, what I want to do is, this time I don't want to create in a new line. I understood how to do that very easily, okay, without any problem. This time I want to create Monty's Python, okay, in double quotes or single quote, doesn't matter as we know, but that's not our intention here. My view is to print something else. So what happens is, in case of previous example, the first character what we have used slash n is printing a new, as simple as that. So what difference you want to do here? Here, what I want to do is I want to use something called tab space. Tab space, you can easily guess actually, slash t stands for a tab space. What does it mean? Let me print as usual first. You already have a space in between Monty and Python, and what else you want to achieve by using a tab? Let's see. I'll try to take it in a next line of code so that you can really make the difference. So what happens is when you use between two different words, not only this, any two different words, slash t, it stands for what? Is there any difference here? You can see tab. Tab stands for 4 spaces, guys. Tab stands for 4 spaces. So what's the fun actually? Why you want to give a space between so long between these two? Sometimes requirement, okay. If you want to give more spaces, is there any other way? Of course, we can use a simple T again, just experiment. You can see a long space between two words. Not only two words, many words, you can give as much of space between two words when you really want to differentiate, okay. So when you are designing something also, you can use a different spaces in order to create something, okay. So this is simple. Straight away we can see that the example demonstrates that T stands for tab space, which will create a simple space between the word to word, any word. It's not just Monty's Python, it could be any word. So let's go for the next example, that is using another type of escape. So what's new, or what's other type of keys we have, that escape keys or characters? We have something called R. R stands for what? R stands for, let me write it here. Okay, carriage written. So let me remove this. Yeah. Carriage written in the sense, sometimes maybe a requirement, you written so long text, okay, with a different words, but you want to pick up something, a very important word, or you want to just ignore the previous message and you want to print only the required information. Between that, if I use R, what happens? I want to print only Python there. I don't want to print a Monty because that's what my program is all about. So Just use R and see what the output you're going to get. So anywhere, if you use /R, stands for that you want to print a specific word before any word. When you write /R, stands for that particular word I want to retrieve and print, not everything. Not everything. I'm not interested in the whole string to be printed. This is how you can print carriage written. The word itself is indicating you are returning the word which is written before that uh, /R. And I keep reminding this, you guys, within double quotes, whatever you print, it should print as it is. That is the fundamental rule. But it is not printing slash, it is not neither printing R, it's not printing T also, that is the tab space, it's not printing N also, because these are escape characters. They will not be printed. Rather, they will try to show their importance. They will try to show their ability, their capability there. They will try to show their action. If you say dash T, it will try to show its strength, that giving a space. R means written characters. So if you say N means new line, that's it. As simple as that. Though it is enclosed in double quotes, doesn't mean that it will print as is. No, it will just concentrate on the words and it will try to split the words the way you want it. The next one, let's try to see the next character, that is, what is that? Okay, so the next one, as we have been seeing, like we, okay, in the previous example where I've taken, okay, here, just to print this single quote, I did a smart work actually, because I don't know how to use the escape character. So I was smartly trying to do my job, just that is printing S apostrophe before S. Okay, but that's one way where you can smartly do it. But there is a escape character which comes rescue to help you to do this job very easily and clean way. What is the job? Let's see. In this case Monty's, I want to print S. It will of course print. There's no problem at all. It will print, right? So there's no problem. So without using these double quotes, because my entire program is written in single quotes, and if you're writing the entire program in single quotes and you want this program also to be written in single quotes, and in between the string, if you have a single quotes, that also you want to print, which is never possible, right? Because immediately you have to change your decision. Okay, I have single quote here, so in order to avoid that, I need to use the double quotes, which makes sense for a simple program. But when you're writing a very big program where the entire structure is defined and developed, designed in a single quotes, and suddenly you want to display some text in single quotes within that, we can't do that. For that, you need to change the whole program to double quotes, because that is what the knowledge we have. But if you know the escape keys, then you'll understand the importance. That is how to print that single quote, okay, without using the double quotes itself. So let's see how you can do that. That is by using a simple backslash. That is backslash. Yeah. So what I want to do the magic here is I want to still use the single quotes, but I want Python to understand my problem. I want to print the single quote. Can I do that? Just use the single quote before single quote, use a backward slash. What it mean? Please escape that character. Please ignore it and print me the way I'm expecting. So let me see if I print the print. Yes, it is doing its job. Because this knowledge I didn't have previously. I was just working with single quote, double quotes, and triple quotes. I did mistakes, but now I know this escape character is existing in Python. Once using this, because as I told you, I've written my 100 lines of code entirely by using single quotes wherever the string is there. In between, if I want to print the single apostrophe, what I've shown on the screen right now, uh, still you can do that. I'm still using single quote, no double quotes anywhere. Okay, the way I managed in the previous example smartly, I'm not managing now. I'm using legally one escape character, that is a backslash. So whenever you use a backslash in your program, that means you want to escape the character and print as is. Just ignore. Though I've used a single quote in between the string, don't consider that single quote as including of the text. Just ignore it and just print as is for me. That's what you're requesting Python here. Okay. The next one is, let's try to print something called, okay, let's take one more example here. Then we'll go for a quick questions. This is next. Let's take a very big topic. Monty's Python is fun. Of course, I'll print nothing new in this, but I want to do something like maybe I want to print with a double quotes at the end. Let's see this. Is it possible? So that means what I'm trying to do is some kind of fun. I'm just using this. This is how I want to print the output as is. But is it possible? Yes, it's possible, because we have that previous knowledge how you can do it. That is using double quotes, right? So when you wanted this double quotes to be printed, what the best thing you can do is you can use the same logic again. I think we can use double quotes here. Okay, for your entire string, you can use double quotes for the entire string, which will print as usual, no change. But you want to print that double quotes. Okay, you want to print that double quote. So how can you avoid it? Simply do one thing, that is use backward slash, which is the way you used. Use a backward slash, and once you say enter, okay, it's giving error because you are avoiding the double quotes. But where is your actual double quotes, which is supposed to be enclose the entire string? Yes, of course, I have should not miss that, right? So this is how you can still use double quotes, not telling the interpreter, Python interpreter, saying that it's not that double quote which I'm intended to that. Generally, double quote I use to enclose the string, but this double quotes I want to print as is the way you printed in the previous example, that is single apostrophe. Interesting. Now let's see if I want to print the same stuff with a backslash, because backslash has a different meaning in Python, right? If I use backslash, what it will do? Let's see this output. What I can do is I'll take the same example again. I'll make it as 19. I want to print a backslash. I want to print really in my text. Maybe sometimes it happens numerator divided by denominator, sum of this divide. You want to print really that slash also, but I cannot print slash here. The problem here printing a slash is print backslash has a different meaning in the Python, right? It ignores that letter and it will never print slash. But here my intention is to print a slash altogether. So what happens is if you want to print a slash or as is, the easiest way is what you can do is okay, let me print as is because I just used without much knowledge. I used a simply backslash and I will say enter. Def Definitely it is going to throw an error because what do you mean you want to ignore double quotes, but where is your actual double quotes? That's what Python is confused. But really I want to print a slash here. So when you want to print a single slash, the way I showed you output, I want to print Monty's Python is fun with one backward slash, just like that for fun. Okay, if I want to print really one single line, use two backward slashes, it will give a result of one backward slash. Okay, my requirement to have two backward slashes, then what? Then I can go for two more backward slash, then print it. What is this? I'm not getting really. To print two forward slashes, you're writing 4 times. Yes, let me write 6 times. What does it mean? I want to print only 3 times. That's how the Python escape key characters will be understood. When you're using two backward slashes, that means you want to print only one backward slash in your output. Okay, something like this. Let me take numerator divided by denominator. This is what you want to print. So I use the double quotes here, use the double quotes. But if I run this, it is printing as usually because you are using a double quotes without using an escape. We have smartly used it. But sometimes, as I said, like some situations where you cannot avoid, you want to use in between some escape characters to in order to get the output. That is maybe not a single slash you want to print, you want to use a double slash. So what happens? Let's try to see that. So if you want to print one, you need to use two, as I said, but still we are able to do that job because we have double quotes safeguarding that. Okay, it is not ignoring anything because ignore can be, slash can be ignored. It is a forward slash, by the way, guys. Forward slash, it's printing as is, it has no meaning at all. So what here we are referring to backward slash. So let's see. Okay, it's printing. Now, the thing is, you want to print twice. Okay, now this is working very clearly because it's understanding the backward slash. No, it's not, it's making as good as no meaning for it because it's in between. But what if it is given at the end? Let's try to do that example as well. I used as backward slash here, and it's trying to ignore that double quotes and it's giving an error. Okay, so I want to print that single backward slash as once again, which is possible by giving two slashes so that it can print one uh, definite one backward slash. In the same way, if you want to use two backward slashes, we need to use four. I mean, just as simple as that. If I want to print one, two, if you want to print two, four, that's it. That's how it will print a denominator, I mean, the backward slash in your string. So this looks so simple. Actually, what's fun actually printing something in a double quote, single quotes, escaping something while you're doing all this stuff. When you are actually writing a very big programs, analyzing a big data, and you really want to print certain kind of a characters which are really important, numerator divided by denominator. Like you want to really print that slash, and you want to put apostrophe, Montes. Okay, certain words you want to really highlight, and you cannot do just by using all the time double quotes and triple quotes. We need to use effectively by these using this escape key so that it can quickly do this job for you. Okay, so all right, we have seen how to effectively use the escape characters, which plays a very, very important role in your programming. All right. So this is only today's day is talking about strings. I'm not talking about other new how the numeric look like, float looks like, what is dictionary, list, tuple. I don't know anything. I'm just concentrating today on strings. So in this string sequence, there is something important to be understand, that is a slicing. Okay, slicing in general, slicing. Okay, let me just give some piece of information here so that you can quickly understand. I'm using open and closing bracket. Let me use in double quotes. These are only notes, guys. It's a markdown, right? So using open and closing bracket, nothing but this is an operator. Operator is called slice. Okay, we know what is a slice means. So in number of pieces, one particular piece, okay, means it's a piece. Slice means a piece, right? So uh, when you want to work with the slicing, or you call it the indexing, so we need to use this open and closing bracket. So far we never use this open and closing bracket. For the first time we are using, and for the topic called a string slicing. So this is an operator I need to use. There's a open and closing square bracket. Operator is called as a slice in Python. Okay, which can be used which can be used to retrieve retrieve parts of string, you say, or slicing. Yeah, strings. Okay, so this is the first ground rule. Okay, what's the first ground rule? I need to use open and closing square bracket. And what is the next rule we have? Always remember the rules, then we are good to go with any kind of a program. Okay, in Python, strings follows zero based index. What does it mean? The index, if I write something called Python there, okay, if I ask you what is the first letter, you'll say P. So that means P is standing in the first position. So that is our general tendency, right? Like P stands for one, Y stands for two. That's how we'll talk about. But in Python, or in technical terms, actually, your any position will start from the zero index, zero based index. Okay. In Python also same, like the index will start with zero. If I say Monty, as per my knowledge, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously it has a 5 letters, so I term that M as 1, O as 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's not true. It starts with 0. We'll see with the graphic structure. Then we have something called what is the other third point? The index what you're writing, okay, can be either positive, or we can say negative, right? So positive or negative, right? The index can be either positive or negative. That means I started M with a 0, I started O as 1. That's how I started. You can also take the negative numbers. We'll see practical with the graph. So there's a point to be remembered here. And the next one is, what is positive mean? What store for me? I mean, what does it a positive mean here is positive index. Let's say positive index means forward direction. Forward direction. And what is your negative mean? Okay, negative means this is basically from the backward direction. Backward direction, this is a forward direction. We'll understand by simple graph, but try to remember the points. We'll try to compare with these points, and we'll try to see the graph. And here, okay, one important thing. So direction forward direction means what? From the computer perspective, what is a forward means? That is basically left to right, right? So I missed this point. So left to right, and vice versa, it's a right to left. Okay, negative means right to left. That is just on your computer screen, left to right and right to left. And these are the few points which you need to remember before you actually start with slicing, and how this slicing really works for you. All right, so let's try to make this heading as little bigger so that you can think as this as a header. Okay, for this, let's move on to the Excel and see how to work with this. Let me remove this. Okay, slicing. Okay, so in order to understand this better, what I'll do is simply I'll go for some cells. For that, I'll write something called M O N T Y P Y Okay, I've written simply uh, a string here, basically, not specific to this word, any word for that matter. I've just taken a simple example called Monty Python. So what does it mean? How Python will treat any string and how it is being positioned, how quickly we can access the elements. Elements, nothing but the letters what we have. We can access them. Okay, let's see. Uh, the first point what we're referring is like it will start with the zero index. Okay, that is one thing rule we need to remember. And basically I need to use a square and left hand square brackets, which I'm going to show you practically for that. And the index can be either a positive or negative. Let's consider on the positive one, that is a positive, which goes from direction from left to right, right? So let's see what is left to right. By left to right, forward, left to right. That's what it means. Uh, let me take, okay, here let's start with zero. Let's start with a simple zero here because the position always starts with zero. So this is zero, this is one, this is two, this is three, and you'll see what exactly it means because you're talking about positive, right? So this is plus VE, nothing but positive, as simple as that. So here the position starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Though it's a 10, 11 letter word, Monty Python is a 11 letter word, but it started being with the zero index. That's how the index starts with zero. So whenever you see the first letter is not first letter, it is a zero, zero. It starts with a zero. That's a forward printing. That is left to right. Let's see what is negative then. So negative means, let me print it a different color so that you can quickly identify them at least. Okay, this is really amazing. I mean, because this is going forward to forward, that is left to right, and this will go not forward, but rather this is negative, and this is backward. If you understand this concept, it's not only help you for the strings, but tomorrow when you're going to learn this list, tuple and everything, the logic remains same. So you'll be surprised to see that, okay, the concept is same. It's no different. So it's very important to understand how this really works. So that's why I'm taking time to make you understand graphically. And let's see what M stands for in terms of a negative character. Okay, maybe it's not always like I want to retrieve something, a letter called P by using a phi. That is the index position of. If I want to retrieve a letter called P, I'll use phi. When I tell my computer, can you retrieve phi? That means it stands for P. That's how I'm able to get with the numbers. What if I want to get with the negative numbers? So this time I'm going left to right, guys. Sorry, right to right to. This is I need to change backward, not left. This is right, this is left. Okay, left. So let me just quickly put this. That is your last number is 11. So let me make it as 11. Okay, this is your 10. Okay, this is your 9. Try to understand the simple logic. Graphically, you can understand more clearly. This is 8. This is your 9, 7. And this is your 6. And this is 5. And this is your 4. And this is 3. This is your 2. And this is your 1. All right, now you can see very clearly the backward, that is backward moving, nothing but right to left, and the top one is left to right. Now, there's no need to make you understand how it really works. So when you want to retrieve particular slice of your whole string, either you can use the negative negative number or the positive number. That means we have two ways of retrieving. That's what we have seen. So let me quickly drag this image into your Jupyter notebook so that you can really take the advantage of having a note. So let me just put it and go to this and copy that index one, which we have, and I want to just put it in my index one so that I just copied and pasted. You can see it's writing some single line of code. When I say control letter, you can see we got this. Okay. Now I understood right how this positive from left to right index works and negative from right to left works. Now I really want to retrieve some information from slicing and dicing. So let's see how it works. Okay. Let me take a simple example here. That is A. Let me put the sequence here. Otherwise, it will not. Okay, let's make it in a single example. Everything will be completed. So what A equal to, I want to write the same text because so that you can understand along with the numbers. You write in upper double quotes or single quote, doesn't matter. Whether you write in uppercase or lowercase, doesn't matter because it's a string. Doesn't matter how you write it, but your variable, you should make sure. Okay, Monty, and then I want to write Python here simply. Then I want to pick up some elements or pick up some letters from this particular Monty's Python. So how you're going to do is simply write print no uppercase, guys. So print I want to say A, it will simply print Monty's Python. This is not I was expecting because I wanted to print the expected letters or the one which I'm really looking for. I want to pick up that slice of information from the given string. So how you can do it? Uh, Let me go back to my notes. What my notes is saying is the first line. You need to use an open and closing bracket operator to pick up that slice from your text, right? So if I do directly A, of course, it prints the way we just learned, but let's try to use open and closing parentheses. Okay. What does it mean again? Let me print. Okay. Nothing is happening because it's just telling you invalid because within the open and closing bracket, we have not mentioned anything. We have a positive numbers and negative numbers, right? So let me just print the first letter. You can print anything. I'm just trying to print everything so that you can understand. Okay, I got M letter. What does it mean? Zero stands for M. So obviously we got M printed. So what if I print something called 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now what will let's try to do some mistakes also here. I'm trying to print as is. Okay, I want to print as is. You can write the numbers what you're looking for. This is 10. Okay, got it. When I run this, no error, nothing. I got all the letters what I'm looking for. I exactly got Monty Python. Let's see if I can print 11. Okay, I'm just removing this for time being just to see the error very clearly because I understood how to print now. Print, I'll say A, open and closing parentheses. If I say 10, what does 10 mean? Within my entire example, 10 stands for N. Okay, excellent. I got the output there. Let me print 11 for the fun. Obviously, this is something you're printing which is not existing, right? This is not existing and you're trying to print which is out of the range. Even in general plain English, if I say this is out of range, even Python is telling the same thing. String index, what you're trying to pick up is out of range. So never try to print which is out of your string. Okay, as simple as that. So we are not supposed to print something which is out of your string object. So this is your complete slicing information with a positive numbers, with a positive. Now let's try to go for the second example very quickly because it's the same kind of stuff, but we are doing it differently, So this is 21. I want to say negative this time. So because we have two options, right? Either you can use that or this. Sometimes situation demands whether you need to use the negative in order to retrieve right to left. So the same case, but what I want to do indifferently this time, print of open closing parenthesis. Let me copy and paste instead. I'll just do so that I can quickly print without wasting much time. I'll copy this one. I'll print it here. Okay. So here, what I want to do is I want to print from negative. That means what? I want to print -1. I want to print -2. I want to print -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -10, -11. It's not the end, but because we have some 11 also, right? So let me print 11 and you'll see that it's printing, no doubt. But it's printing how? It's printing completely the reverse word. So if you want to pick up Monty Python the way I printed at the top, what you need to do, we know that. We need to start with 11 here. You need to start with the 11. That's it. Very simple. This should be 10. This should be your 9. This should be 8. This should be 7. This should be 6. This should be 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's a simple logic, right? So what you want to retrieve that you are mentioning, that's how simply you are also understood left to right. This is basically we are saying, sorry, right to left. This is left to right, right? Right to left. This is what? Left to right, which is negative, and this is your left to right, that is positive. That's it. Quite simple, easy, straight away. But what happens, it looks very good for me, but the thing is only whenever you want a single character you're able to retrieve. What if my situation is different? I want to at least slice from this given string like 2 characters or 3 characters, sometimes depends, right? So from this I want entirely Python word to be retrieved or Monty to be retrieved or a particular 2 letter I want to retrieve. So let's see that example as well. In when it comes to slicing. Slicing, there is another way of slicing, that is the range. So range of letters, number of characters which you want to retrieve. This is a 21, and let me not follow the sequence. Okay, let me not use right or left. So it's very simple. So I want to use the range here. That is multiple letters, or you can say multi letters when you want to retrieve how you're going to do that. So let me remove this. As you know, if you leave it blank, you'll not get anything. You need to have some number here, which is within that range. So you're getting O, which is O stands for in the Monty's Python, M is 0 and O is 1. So that's what our understanding now so far. So what happens if I want to print a range in any Excel, like when you want to write a range of cells, what you do, basically from A1 to A10, that's how you refer, right? So basically, when you want to print in Python, what you do is 0:1. What does it mean? What does it mean, 0:1? So what 0:1 stands for, that I want to start my journey from 0, that is M. I want to retrieve the letter of O also. But does it really print two letters? That's the question here, because it clearly indicates it's going to print the letters from the range 0 to 1, 0 being the numerator least number and the 1 being the highest number. So when I try to print, you'll see, for our surprise, it will print only M. It is not printing the whole thing, right? Why? Because the highest number what you provided, the upper limit number what you provided, from that it will minus 1. Okay, so what does it mean? Let me give more clean example here. So if I say 0 to 2, I'm expecting three letters here: 0, 1, and as well as 2. That means MON I'm supposed to print, but it will not print MON here. What it gonna print down? It is going to print only MO, because 2 stands for 1. It will minus 1. The index upper one will treat it as, let me write here, as minus 1, which means it is 1 only, right? Which means it's only 1. So when I print, that's the magic. It will print only MO, but not actually was expecting 2 also will be printed, but it will never print. The upper limit number, it will upper limit number what you mentioned, it will not print that number. So this is very, very important when it comes to writing programs. It looks very simple here, but the logic we need to understand here. If I say 3, it will not print 3, but only it will print two letters, 3 letters, that is ignoring the third part. So if I go for the next limit, that is 4, now, if I print, you can see MON. Okay. So printing is, I mean, the way I'm printing maybe not really required, but just trying to understand what are the different styles of this example actually. Okay. So what happens if I give starting number as, instead of 0, if I say start with 1, I'm telling Python, can you print from 1 to 2? What does it mean? So it's going to start its journey from 1 and it will print to up to 2? No, because 2 means 1. That is the upper limit, right? So when I click, it's only printing O. O stands for what? 1. So that is how you can check various examples. Okay, let me remove this. How this really working? Okay, only one trick when you start comparing with the previous example and this example is I'm using a colon, nothing but a range of cells or a range of letters which you're trying to slice from your given string. It's really, really important to understand this example. So let me use negative numbers. Okay, let me take one more example. I'm not using anything here. Okay, what does it mean? I don't want to use anything at the starting number. Will my Python will understand what I mean? It will really understand, because if you don't specify anything, it will understand as 0. Does that right? Yes, it's printing two letters, that is 0, 1. It's not printing 2, by the way. Can I print this way? I started with this and I want to use colon and 4. What does it mean? I'm given three numbers now, three different ranges: 0, 2, 4. Let me see what is output. When I see here, I'm just end up printing only M. Okay, what happens is when you're giving the last parameter, skip simply. So basically, to understand this more, try to give as many different combinations in order to understand how really it works. So if you want to see one more example, just let's see using a minus object, because we have not used it. So let's try to say something like minus 2. What is minus 4 maybe? If I say this, what it mean? Monty PY. So it is minus 4. What is minus 4 stands for here? Let's go for minus 4. Minus 4 is T. Okay. So what it is printing now? It is printing MONTYPY. So that means starting with the 0, minus 4. So try to use all the combinations, positive and negative numbers, and try to see how you can make this as uh, more understandable. That's it. All right, we have seen how to work with the slicing, that is positive and negative, and also when you want to pick up some few letters from your given string. So always remember this simple image, which will give the clarity for any string in this world. Just use this simple Monty Python. I given something, you can give anything and to see how it works with the different combinations. So let's go for the next one, that is working with Python string methods. Okay, Python string methods. So there are so many Python string methods available, but we'll try to cover only few because the other methods which are available for string, of course, but I need to understand that list and as well as the tuples dictionaries more in detail. Then I can cover all the topics. But for now, let's quickly try to understand how the string methods can be used. Okay, we already understood string is nothing but a sequence of characters, right, enclosed in quotations mark, and basically it can include numbers, spaces, and alphabets. So what happens is when somebody given your input and you want to convert that into a uppercase, why actually, why you want to convert it into uppercase or lowercase, uh, for anything for that matter, because that's a requirement of your program. You want to convert certain things into according to your requirement so that the program can be work better. Okay, so somebody has entered a lowercase, but you want to internally convert them into uppercase, and you want to modify that according to your requirement so that you can program can work better. So if these methods, or you call it as a function, these are built in. What is built in mean? The word you need to understand. Built in means these are already existing in Python. I'm not recreating anything. I'm not inventing a new wheel. I want to make certain things into uppercase. So I'm using in Excel. Let's go back to Excel. I want to make certain text into upper. I have a function or a method called upper, and I need to pass a parameter, then it will become uppercase, right? So even in Python, we have that methods, but how to use is very important. Let's use the first example, that is if you understand one, everything is very similar. The only thing is understanding of that method is very important, how really you can use in your program. So first one, we are going to understand the capitalize. What is a capitalize? Is it going to make all the letters upper and lowercase, or completely uppercase, or only few letters? Let's try to understand that. Every method will have open and closing parentheses. What does it mean? We know in Excel, right? Like when I open some function, it will have open and closing parentheses. What it takes actually, it takes certain values. We can say arguments. Other way you can call it is as parameters. It will accept something. Like if I say sum, I need to give some parameters 10, comma 10. So that it can really print that output as a 20 for me. If I use a VLOOKUP, it has 4 parameters, right? So every function will have its own parameters, which actually I'm not creating. It's already there. This is what you call as a built-in functions. Once having understood those built-in functions and data types, the next our target should be creating our own functions which are not existing in Python. That's quite interesting. But before that, we need to see how to use the predefined functions which are available in Python. So the meaning of capitalize means it simply converts the first character only. That's a trick here. It converts only the first character to capital, okay, letter. So it's simply converting the first letter into caps. So for that, Monty's I've taken as Python as an example, okay, which I stored in a variable again. If I print as usual, you'll get what? Whatever is there. I'm keep repeating this fact because we've been using this. Without this, you'll not write any program. So once I print this, you'll print as usual. But what is that I want to do here? I want to capitalize that first letter, because capitalize means not every letter capitalize. That is what it means. It means converts only the first character to capital letters. So is that true? Let's see. If you want to really do that, what you need to do is we need to use this. Let's try to understand the syntax first before I further go, because let's spend on one particular method some time so that the rest of things will be easy for you. So you need to mention, we need to mention that string, whatever the string we are going to use, dot, and that method which you want to use. Okay, for now, let's leave it what is open and closing parentheses, because not every function will have its parameters. Like for example, row is a function in Excel, it doesn't have any parameters. Sum is a function, it has a parameters. VLOOKUP has a parameters, but there are certain methods which will not have any parameters. It's just open, and you need to make use of just like that. It's ready-made one. Okay, now, what I want to do is I just don't want to print A as it is. Rather, I want to capitalize the first letter. So for that, what you need to do is you can just convert before only before you actually print, or you can say here itself capitalize. You just capitalize my letter A. A is nothing but a variable which is having that already a string. So what I want to do is I want to use str dot capitalize. I don't know the spelling. Okay, I don't know the spelling. Had it been if I'm using PyCharm, maybe VS Code. The moment I type CAP immediately I'll get the whole text. Okay, immediately I'll get the whole text. There's no need to remember any spelling of any particular method. And more important, it's not about spelling, it's about the characters, how I need to write, uppercase, lowercase, I don't know. Which method starts with uppercase, lowercase, I don't know. So no need to confuse, actually, very simple formula here. What we can do is dot. Once you use dot, use tab on your keyboard. It will show you what are the different methods available in your Python. Once you say dot and capitalize, you can see there's a beautiful pop-up dialog box which appear in front of you, and you simply say okay to that, and it will. Okay, it's printed here because I wrongly pressed. So dot capitalize, and we need to give must this opening and closing parenthesis. Okay, so once I say print a, what happens? That is what I want to see. Okay, it's giving an error here now because a equal to str. Str is nothing but the string which you are converting. Okay, let me do in this way. Okay, we have given the str as a dot capitalized, then we are trying to print a. So a is already taken as a Monty's Python. So let's try to use b here. Will it work? Okay, if you understand one method, it's all same. There's no need to work for each method in a different fashion. It's not really required. So as I mentioned, like we need to use uh, the variable what we have. So str nothing but the if you look at my what do you call the syntax what I've written. Let me put it as a syntax here, otherwise confusion. Syntax, if you see very clearly, it's saying string dot capitalize. What is string actually? The string is nothing but Monty's Python. Where it is stored actually a. So I need to use str nothing but that string, the syntax, I need to use a. Not a, upper a, lower a is different in Python, right? So I need to be very careful when I'm using those and declaring variables. So I use a dot capitalize. That means whatever a, I'm not trying to make a as capitalized. Actually, what is stored in the a, I'm trying to make it capitalized. So you can just say enter. Now you see it is really done the job. Actually, it is uppercase, but only the first letter is being capitalized. So can I use same variables again and again? What's wrong? So let's see. It prints the same. There's no change at all. So it's always better to use a different variables to make it very clear structured program. So the very first one, we understood how to use a capitalize. It doesn't have any parameters. All you have seen very clearly, it doesn't have any parameters. So let's try to understand the next one with parameters so that you'll get a flavor of how important this closing and opening parameters mean. So I'm going to copy the same thing because as I mentioned, everything is going to be much similar. The only thing is here I'm trying to use the parameters. So in case of parameters, so here I want to use this next method, center. By the way, how do I know the list of methods which are available in Python? That's very simple. As I mentioned, you need to use simply this converts into, what is the meaning of center again? Converts, it's basically the string, whatever the string we have, it is going to put it in the center, okay? Converts or not converts, actually, it makes string in middle. Center middle. Okay, so what is the syntax for this? The syntax is string dot, I'm going to use center. So the way I've written C capital, I'm not really sure, so let me give in a lowercase. Equal to Monty's Python, but here I don't want to use capitalize. I don't know center to be right like this or uppercase, I don't know anything, so I'll simply use dot. I'll make use of that shortcut key in Jupyter Notebook. Okay. In other IDs, it's not required. While you're writing, it will start helping you with the words with a drop down box, the way I'm getting in Jupyter as well. Okay. Here I want to find out where is center. Okay. Just say okay, center is ready. Open and closing parentheses, just like the way I just learned the first example I'm running, but I'm failed. Why? Because the capitalize doesn't have any parameters, right? So that's how we could able to understand by the output. But center is not like that. Center is insisting you, can you please tell me where exactly you want to put this in center? Okay, how much width you want to leave it from the left and right so that I can really print in center? Okay, so that means center is having two parameters here, which we strictly need to follow. Of course, second parameter is optional. Let's see. First one is width. Width in the sense, how much of width you want to leave and print your output. So let me say 50 here. What's wrong? When I say 50, it is printing somewhere in the middle. I don't know because I've given 50 spaces, guys. Here, 50 spaces. Okay. Let me say 100. What does it mean? Like you want to leave 100 spaces. Very good. Okay. 100 spaces. So let me make it 50, which is looks good, or 60 maybe, and let's print it. Now this is printing Monty's Python. You're talking about the next parameter, but is it really required? There are certain parameters which are optional, which are mandatory. Width is mandatory. That's why if I don't use the first parameter, you have seen very clear error. The first one is mandatory. If I don't give the first parameter, it's giving an error straight away. So that means the first parameter is mandatory. Second parameter is optional. That's why even if I don't provide the second parameter, which I haven't told you, it's still working. Yes, it will work because the second one is optional. Let's say comma fill character. Fill character is one parameter. First parameter is width. Second parameter is your fill character. What kind of character you want to fill when you print something in middle? I want to print something called star, just like I designed. I want to print something like a star before and after this text of 60 spaces. Let's see how it works. Okay, this is this is basically the second parameter. As I told you again, optional. So always remember, something which is optional, it's not really mandatory to use, but sometimes maybe a requirement, you want to show something like a slashes, let's say backward slash or something, a special character you want to put and you want to print like that. Okay, so why it's not printing slash has a special meaning, right? So slash has a special meaning. So let me use something, uh, star or exclamation. Does it have a special meaning? No. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to fill that gap, the spaces what you have with all those special character what you have given. So please do remember, fill character is completely optional. Width is something where you are trying to specify how much padding you want to give. Padding is nothing but like the number of spaces you want to give. Okay, that's a very quite simple example. And let's see the next one. I'm writing the notes as well, by the way, so that you can understand this is the 25th example. And here, what I want to learn is, okay, somebody has given the input in something called lowercase, and I want to convert into uppercase. Okay, simply he has given in lowercase, I want to convert into uppercase. So it's quite easy, right? So lower, maybe you can, by this time, you can guess actually, it makes text string into lowercase. And very, very important methods, because when you write the real programs, you'll understand how really benefit of using this. I used a lower here. Lower, does it have anything again? I don't know. Let's try to see that. I used, instead of a dot center, I don't know how to write the lower. Don't worry, simply use dot and tab. Use just tab. It will show you all those available, and you can search, or you can simply type LOR. It will start showing up what is that lower, is it available or not. That's it, very simple. Okay, I typed again. Okay, lower. So when I run this, it should convert Monty's Python into lowercase. You can see the user has given the input in uppercase, but I'm able to manage to convert into lowercase by simply using one particular method called lower. In the same way, it works the same way for the upper. There's no different, but let's try to see. Because I want to go with each and everything so that we can understand whether it has a parameters or not. So this is upper. Upper means, does it really, okay, it's already upper, so it make no sense. So let me make Monty Python as lowercase so that I can really make this as a upper. I'm not using tab because I know that function is upper. That's it, very simple, right? So let me use some more cells so that I can quickly create what happened. Yeah, so this is one more example what you have seen, and let's go for the next one, that is 27. As I told you already, the secret how to ensure that we have so many types of methods, which is already showing in the dialog box, so there's no need to remember again. As per your requirement, you can just bring it on and start using that. Very simple one, right? So if you want to find something, let's try. Okay, before that, very important one, that is a count. Okay, we have something called count, right? So which basically we use in Excel, the same style. We have count. So what does count does actually? Count does, is it going to go into the number of characters? So let's see. So string dot not lower, it's count. But how to write the count? Let's try test it. I simply want to use count and see what it is going to give you. It is giving error. Why? Because count, it is trying to count, but what you want to count actually, it is not counting the number of characters what we have in the string. That's a mindset what we have. When you say count, please count the number of characters we have in your string, but that's not the meaning when it comes to Python. Count means the number of occurrence. For example, any letter which is repeating, well, okay, we have something called y which is repeated twice, so I want to count the letter called y, how many times repeated, do I know? Let's see. So if we want to use that, we need to use two parameters here. That is the string we need to use. We need to use the start number and the end number. So count is parenthesis. We have three parameters. One is subs. Let's see this. This is counting occurrence. Okay, number of times it is coming out. So count, how many parameters we have is substring, nothing but string. Let's make it simple string. And we have start and we have end. Okay, again, this is optional. I'm putting in brackets so that you can understand this is an optional one. Okay, that's not really important for me. If I use, I'll come to know what is the importance, but otherwise it's very optional. String is must. Okay, now I'm saying count. What you want to count, by the way? Okay, index in Python start always from 0, right? Not 1. That's what we understood by the slicing and dicing. So if I want to count really the occurrence of this particular letter called y, how do I know what is that uh, y? So how I'm going to write? As usual, we use double quotes to see how many times y is printed. So it is telling me very clearly, it's very evident. You can see from Monty's Python, y is printed, repeated twice. That is what count stands for. Count stands for, the simple definition is the counting occurrence, the number of counting letter occurrence. Okay. If I say J, I want to say what I'm, okay, I want to say J. J, does it exist? No, 0. It's not giving an error because it's still trying to find if J is existing in the Monty's Python. It did not find, so by default it will always shows you 0 instead of showing any error. That's how the count is designed. Okay, as I told you, only 3 parameters. One is string and start and the end number. So what is a start and number? Let's see with that one example as well. Okay, start means what and what is end mean? So in this string, whatever the number which you have, like for example y in this example, so if I say y, what is the start number from this entire string? I don't know what is the length of the string. Monty's Python is 11 letters, right? So I want to I want to see from letter called start number should be, I'm telling very specifically to Python, can you start from your checking of this occurrence from number 3 then to 11 so that I can get the answer. So it's telling 2. So that means I'm trying to make my Python struggling so much, so I'm trying to make it easy. So don't start from starting. I know, I'm sure y is not existing in the first few letters. Start with 4. From there you start searching till the 11 letter, and whenever it is you find that number of letters, you tries to give me. That is what the count is all about. So let's go for the next one. That is, okay, so very simple but makes very really important. Have you seen the lower and upper? Yes, by that you can understand. But the count is playing a very really different role here, because it is trying to tell you what is the start and end, and also trying to go with, you're you're trying to customize the searching pattern here. So let's try to see the next one. That is, what is the next one? We have something called find. Okay, so what the find is going to do, does it find something what you're looking for? For that I need a text, something like this: Monty's Python is fun. Okay, let's have a very big text. Here I want to find something. What the find is going to do is it is going to find the string what you're looking for. Find the string in the given string. Okay, not find the string, actually it's wrong. We can say something, find the word. Okay, so here what I want to do is I don't want to use the count now. I learned something new called find here, so let me use the find here. By the way, does it, the find exists in my system? I mean that in the Python list, say dot and tab, you'll see that beautiful dialog box coming up here, and you can see the find is existing here. So find, you have within open and closing parentheses. Again, the confusion starts here. Do I need to provide any parameters? Of course. Let me see. If I run this, it will throw an error because you yourself telling the Python interpreter, find something for me, but you're not telling what to find. So better you always give, it's not better like it, you have to give something there. I want to find ease. Do you have that ease? Can you please tell me the exactly the portion of that? Because you know that index starts from the 0, and where the E stands for, in which location and which position rather, that is in the 13th. So this is as simply talking about finding the position of your, finding the word, not word, word position, we can say position of the position in the given string. Very interesting, very important as well. So this is a fine example, and let's go for the next one. That is, let's try to see how we can use, let's take an example of is numeric. Is numeric in the sense, what I'm trying to provide, is it a numeric or not? Because let's try to talk about all the numerics at once when you're talking about a numeric ones, not now. uh, yeah, title case is something. Okay, let's try to see the title case also. This is 28 and this is 29. Title case. Okay, so here what I want to do is I want to use simply a title. How to write the title? Title, open and closing parentheses. Do it had any what do you call parameters? Let's see. Syntax is not the same here. We need to say title, 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 str, nothing but the string. What is your string? String is Monty's Python is fun. That is the string. So when you say a dot title, what it will do? Is it really going to check that uh, every letter capitalize is different? Like capitalize is what it is doing is it is trying to find the very first portion of your letter and trying to capitalize rest of the things it's least bothered. But whereas when you look at this text, it's completely different. Why? Every word first letter is capitalized. That is what your title means. But at the same time, I want to see with some method, I want to find out, is it really title or not? Okay, I want to say something like P as a caps here. Let's say as is, and F as F, okay, M as M, uppercase. So what I want to do is, I want to use one more method through which I want to find, is it really title or not? So once I say is title, okay, is numeric, is sing, the way you found in Excel, the same way is title. So when I try to print, what happens? It will give you only two results, so either it's true or false. So let me just remove that now. For now, M, okay, and P and I, and let's run this. False. Why it's not a title? Because title means what? Every word, the first letter should be uppercase, but it's found false because it's not the right one. Okay. Likewise, we have is uppercase or is lowercase. You can find all those things. But first thing is, how do I know the meaning of each one? Because count is, I was thinking the way I was expecting the count is not the same way. It's trying to count the, the portion, right? So it's not counting the number of letters rather. So here, what I want to do is I want to take the help of somebody. What is that somebody? Is it a Google? No. There's a Python heavy documentation is there, which you can retrieve from your Jupyter or any other editor. For instance, I don't know what is title mean. I want to write a text here. Okay, in comment, I want to write a notes. What is title means. So I don't know what exactly line to be written. So what I'll do is I'll take the help of help a command. There's a command called help, which will make your life easy to understand anything in the Python. Okay, interesting. Anything in the Python you can understand by using help command. So by using help command, once you say enter, what it is doing is it's asking, okay, it is going straight away not to any other site, but it is going to something called documentation. So that means if you're good at reading, just click on this and go and read all the stuff. Okay, but I don't have that much of time. I want to be very specific. Uh, Finding out something about is title, what is the meaning of that? I don't want to get into the whole stuff. Maybe it's important at the same time, but at this moment I'm interested more in understanding what is is title mean, what is is numeric mean, or or what is uppercase mean or lowercase mean, or there are other things like is strip mean, makes trans mean. There are a lot of methods, but we'll slowly try to understand them by other uh, data types what we have list, and there's a very big data types which we are going to learn, which is completely new. So here, if I want to understand, as I mentioned, is title, what it mean actually, don't know. So that's why I didn't written any information here. Okay, but I want to write. How do I, whose help I can take? The syntax always says str dot, right? So str dot what? So you want to say is the title. Okay, is title. So let's see if it works. What I want to do is I'll simply run. It's not working. It's not giving anything for you. What is title stands for. Let me remove this command and just run this. Okay, what happened? It's taking time. Is title string of str dot, is it? No. It's taking time to display the output for us. Ah, let me do this way, otherwise e equal to something. What is e dot? Doesn't make sense, but let's do it. Oh, what? Help command, how we use it. So help is help, and within that we want to know what is title mean? Is title, title, then open in parentheses, because that's how it works. Like, so once I enter, what? Should not be str. Let's see if it's taking time. Okay, it's working. So how you're going to use this help command, use that is title or anything for that matter. I'm just using is title to understand str. Okay, it is taking as an error, so that means str dot what, title. Oh, there's no memory to work. Oh yeah. So finally we got like, what does it mean is str.isTitle. So I don't know what is this title means. So it is trying to tell me it returns a true if the string is the title case or not. Okay. It is giving the clear information which I can use it as a notes, rather simply I can use as a notes, which I was not aware what this does. Now I know what it does because Python documentation is helping me to understand this. In simple, if I want to know what is uppercase mean, UPPUR, then you say enter, it is telling me what is upper. Upper is nothing but it returns a copy of string, convert to uppercase. One thing you need to remember when you're working with the methods, I given e equal to Monty Python is fun, but when I'm trying to use the method, the output what I'm getting, not this is the right example. So this one, and when I'm saying title, so that means I want to convert some text into a title case, but the actual text will remain same. Actual text will always remain same. Just you are trying to create the copy of it. Okay, the copy of it. You are just converting it and creating one more copy to show you how the Monty's Python is fun showing in uppercase or lowercase. But the original string will remain same. That's a note we need to remember. It's just converting, not really changing your original text. So guys, rest of the string methods, try to see if you can manage. But otherwise also we are intended to do with all these methods by using the list, tuples and the dictionary and other data types. All right. So let me pause it. All right, so this is how you can check, you can seek help from the Python documentation by using its method. Like we have several other methods as well. We have seen few other methods we'll try to cover with list, because I need to know what is list mean, what is tuple mean, and understanding those data types as an individual. Then we'll start implementing these methods on those also, because those are really important data types. The way every data type is important as per, depends upon your program. You may not use all the data types, but depends upon your program, you have to use all the data types. Some data types depends again. This is a single line will give you a lot of information. So try to spend some time with the help command. Don't use help directly because it will take you to the documentation. If you have time, go through the complete documentation, gives a lot of knowledge. Else try to be very specific for this method. What does it mean? What is the syntax? It is telling you, okay, upper means you need to give the self information. That is a string. Then I'll convert you into a uppercase. That's how it works. That's all for today, and have a great week. In the next week's session, we'll try to cover the next data type. Very important again, that is a numeric data types. As you have seen in the numeric data type, we have something called, what are the other data types we have in the numeric factor? One is integer, okay, which is a whole number. We have seen already in the second week or second week session how to use the numbers, right? But I have not used with the combination of variables. So let's try to make it a very different package of using a print command along with the variables and trying to use these numbers in detail. And we also have to cover that other operators. Out of 8 operators, we have just covered only 4. The rest of the 4 we'll try to cover, because for that also we need to understand the other data types which we have, like tuple and list, right? So that's all for today. Have a great weekend and see you in the next week. Thank you so much, guys.